Okay, let's go. So, I need to remember to do one thing before I start, and that's to turn animations back on. And let's just check. Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, when I was doing that off-camera skirmish, I turned animations off to speed it up. So, right, yeah, this chapter. Yeah. One thing about this chapter is that I need to not have my recording curse happen. Because if I get really bad luck early on, it's going to be pretty hard to recover. I need to get a few very specific kills on these first few turns. So, namely, get rid of that guy. Have Garrick runesword this guy to just lower his health a little bit. And this is what mercenaries look like using a runesword. This guy, more often than not, doesn't go to that ballista, but I don't want to speak too soon. So, next thing I want to do is make sure that Ross goes to a specific point. That's here. Ross going here and equipping an iron axe will ensure that this guy dies, and two of the soldiers, well, at least one of the soldiers is going to die, but without the rangers, basically only one ranger is going to be able to attack him this turn, because those three rangers do move, which is very annoying. And I also want to make sure that Amelia is in a position where she's not in range of that guy because she will fail to one-round kill him. I want to clear a path as much as I can. 1 HP off, of course. So I have to use Ewan for this guy. Unfortunate, but I can still do this. Oh yeah, this is my first time seriously showing Shaman Ewan on camera. He crit once during a grinding session, and I really love how the Shaman crit looks in this game. Okay, good. Didn't miss either of those. That's fine, which means that I can go ahead and use Tana to fly down and take that guy out, because she'll be out of range of that ballista. Once again, need to hit both of these, but that should happen. Tana's getting to the point where she's pretty reliable now. Also getting to the point where she's not getting that much experience. And these soldiers here aren't really a threat. They're more of an annoyance if you don't take them out early. I guess I can go for the one with one more crit. Yeah, loot has to go there to get Danced, because the issue is that they're not really a threat, but if two of them attack Loot in the same turn, she will die. I know that from experience. So I have to have Loot kill two of them. Why are you not gaining speed? Right, so... can Luke go into a position where she kills the Javelin guy and it doesn't attack Teddies? I mean, Teddies will probably be fine against one hit. As long as I take out two of the soldiers this turn, shouldn't be that bad. Okay, so those soldiers are down. Done that, done that. Okay, next step is that Erica is going to actually go over here. My target is to put Erica in this forest, equip the Shamshir, and have her stall about here. Having Erica around here also is a good idea, because she needs to do something later on this chapter, and you probably already know what it is. Also, though, I have unlocked the B support between Erica and Seth, so I might as well get that done now. Erica is doing some random sparring practice in the middle of a serious battle. Yeah, this is an issue with supports happening on the map as opposed to being in the base or something like that. Once again, everyone is just pretty much pointing out how overpowered Seth is. It's kind of interesting. I guess that makes sense because she uses rapiers, which are more of a thrusting weapon, but the fact that she learned her sword skills from a lance user might explain why she doesn't actually hit that hard. So Seth could actually teach her swordplay. As much as Erica should kind of be offended by that, it does kind of make sense because, one, the whole kingdom is hinging on her survival, and from a gameplay standpoint, Seth is a lot stronger than her. And also the fact that it's pretty much Seth's job to protect her. So that's a pretty generic support overall, but the A is a lot more interesting. That guy, though. That guy. Okay, if I have... That'll require Amelia moving back, and I need her to be close to the front lines because I want her Horse Slayer. Like I said, that guy usually doesn't use the ballista. So at this point, I'm just going to have Rachel go around here, and then Colum is unfortunately going to have to stay... Not so much unfortunately, but he has to stay around the starting area of this map. Around here is where it needs to be, and unfortunately, it's an item that's very hard to steal if you don't already know about it. It's one of those things you have to figure out by trial and error. I was doing a practice run, and I had Colum in the wrong part of the map, and I had to restart. Okay, I like it when Ross dodges a bit here. But okay, that's one enemy down. If I do this right, we should be able to get rid of the majority of enemies surrounding the boss by the end of the first 3 turns. I was hoping that's missed, and I got it, which is good. You know what I'm also hoping for? Speed. Hey, I got it that time. Nice. Even though it's still quite a bit lower than it should be for this point in the game. Maybe I didn't move him far enough. Maybe he should have got attacked by 2 soldiers that turn. Okay, so that thing's gone, and, well, I mean, it was blocking the ballista, but, that archer usually likes to, and good, this archer's run forward, which means that I can kill him without needing to worry about him using a ballista. Okay, that guy's using a ballista. Yeah, these archers all tend to go for Joshua this turn, because I think it feels like if all of them hit him, then technically he stands a chance of dying, but it's very unlikely they all hit him. And I guess we don't get to see Teddy's dodge animation because, yeah. So these guys will be showing up for the next few turns all from this point. The first wave of them is pretty special. The fighter has a hand axe, and this guy has a Zanbato, effective against cavalry, which is also a good option against the boss, if you can get it all the way over to someone who wants to fight the boss. So Erica, I'm hoping that her standing here with the Shamshir should be enough to take out these guys at a steady pace. Also, like I said, having Erica up here is going to be pretty helpful. Speaking of helpful... Okay, yeah. The moment you're really only in a position to dance for Rachel. Or you could try and get loot to hit this guy and then move further away. Fun fact, my most successful practice run actually involved loot dying, so I actually don't know what I'm supposed to do with loot after this point. I just kind of continued the practice run because everything else went perfectly. So, speaking of everything else going perfectly, Joshua needs to get rid of that archer. That's exactly enough. Is there a way? I'm gonna have to go for this, I guess. There we go. Okay, that means that top ballista is effectively out of action. You can use these ballistas yourself if you have any archers, but I don't really find it that necessary. Now, here's the main step of this plan. Garrick is going to go here, and he's going to equip the Lance Reaver. Because of this, these 2 Cavaliers will both die because they're stupid and will attack Garrick with the Lance Reaver, and then he's in a perfect position to not only kill this guy next turn, but also take out all 3 of these Armor Knights. Garrick kind of goes on a Lance Reaver rampage at this point. Now, the main thing that I have to worry about is the Rangers. Step 1 is to kill that archer. Now, let me just quickly check the range of the other rangers. No, I don't think any of them could get Ewan at that point. Ewan could survive a hit from 1 ranger, but multiple rangers against him is generally not that good. Also, last time I practiced, that archer didn't get on that ballista, so... This might be bad if the ballista hits Ewan. And it might also be bad if that happens. Of course that happened. Yeah. Now, these guys are pretty much totally no threat to Ross. The problem is that problem is that what I would like to do is do the... Well, actually, no, because he's equipping the sword. So the halberd does one-shot these guys, but it has a terrible hit rate. What I prefer doing here is to have Seth soften them up. I could even go for the Silver Lance if I wanted. It's actually not necessary, though. And then have Amelia finish them with the Horse Slayer, which in this case is going to require Ross to kill that thing. Good that Archer didn't become the Chapter 7 Archer. Just checking how much damage Amelia does. Because she's actually pretty decent at tanking at this point. Yeah, Seth can just go ahead and use the Iron Lance here. Also, you're about to witness the Ranger's sword animation. Some people have said that it's not that bad and I'm exaggerating, but it really feels like it's missing a lot of frames. It just feels kind of, you know, more like an amateur fan project animation than an actual official one to me. Also, the Rangers give a lot of experience. Please, strength. Well, defense is alright. Amelia having this much defense is actually kind of spectacular. In one of my most recent playthroughs, I made her a great knight, and she didn't have this much defense at, like, level 10 promoted, so I'm getting kind of defense blessed with her. I mean, she was admittedly a cavalier great knight, but still. Okay, now hopefully only one of the Rangers can go for Ross. And they can't go all the way there, so I'm going to be able to heal Ross with the Rachel, which I get the feeling might actually be necessary. So, just going for this here. The unfortunate thing about Amelia equipping the Horse Slayer is that it's going to weigh her down enough that she doesn't double most things here, which is kind of a problem. And now I can get Tana into a position so that once that ballista is down, she can go free raid on some things. I'm just thinking about something with her having the Axe Reaver. We may or may not see this happening eventually, but if two Reaver weapons collide, they basically revert the weapon triangle back to being normal. So, swords will beat Sword Reaver... Wait, no. So, Lance Reaver, which is a sword, beats Sword Reaver, which is an axe, and so on. It's kind of an interesting trait of those weapons. Like I said, I actually don't know what I'm supposed to do with loot at this point, but I guess I'll help her contribute to the front lines. She's not that good against the boss at all, thanks to his decent resistance. She's also... in fact, she might be better committed around here, because let's just say that a certain... Yeah. I'll stop there, because it's kind of a spoiler, but you should be able to tell what's going to happen anyway. And that's the reason why I like to stall this chapter out a bit. Yeah, Erica usually gets hit there, it's generally not that big a deal. And that was exactly enough damage to kill with a crit. Nice one. And there's the Zunbato, which I'd like to get carried to my frontline attack. I noticed them doing this in practice as well. They seem to go for Seth somehow. I guess they do more damage because they don't have the weapon triangle disadvantage they would with Ross. Yeah, we're getting to the point where Seth is actually not all that broken. I say that, and he crits twice with a 10%. He's not even in support range of Erica either. So I'm kind of confused why he's critting this much. And these guys are going to be stupid again, like I was saying. Garrick usually crits around here for some reason. I mean, then again, the RNG is kind of fixed, so I guess if I'm repeating most of the same actions that I've done in practice, I should be getting similar results. But I find Garrick usually tends to crit around here. But he doesn't need it. With the Lance Reaver, these guys die, although the crit did save a use of it, and it's only got 15 uses. Aha! He finally gained speed. That didn't happen in practice. He gained defense there. That guy's still obsessed with Joshua. And speaking of obsession, yeah, anyone with a hand axe is obsessed with attacking from range. It makes sense because they don't risk themselves in melee. Oh, I don't like those rangers, especially not when they go on forts. That guy's going to be a little tricky to take down. Wow, everyone's going for Seth today. mean, I guess he is one of the biggest threats, but still. Okay, well, I was about to say it's just Amelia, that's not a big deal, but she actually contributes quite a bit to this chapter for me. Okay, that's good. I do have the restore staff on Rachel in case someone gets hit. And in practice, that guy usually goes for Garrick, and if Garrick falls asleep, that can be a problem. So, the plan here is to have Garrick go down, kill this guy with the Lance Reaver. Unnecessary crit there. And in doing so, it means that all three of these guys will probably pile onto Garrick and die. He's just that strong. And that guy probably will as well. So now we just have to contend with the Rangers. Who I'm pretty sure can't use ballistas, so we don't need to worry about the ballistas, I think, ever again in this chapter. I do have to worry about Rachel potentially getting attacked by Rangers, though. If I block off just right, she probably shouldn't. Okay, so I can Horse Slayer one of them. Unfortunately, the Horse Slayer isn't that reliable when they're not equipping a sword, which is frustrating. I mean, I could try and have Seth kill the sleep guy, but I kind of feel like the range is a higher priority. The sleep guy is very, very annoying, but I can't even tell how much hit rate Ewan's going to have on the guy in the fort. Yeah, he's only got like 60s against them, which is unfortunate. But on the plus side, when the Rangers are equipping bows, Ross's halberd actually has a better hit rate against them. 54. That's still kind of bad. Also, lol, all 3 trainees in one space. But let's just see. How many things can attack Ross if he uses the halberd? Mostly just Armor Knights, and it just mainly depends on... The thing is, if this hits, it's going to be a big help. If it doesn't, it's not the end of the world, but if it does, it's a big help, so I might as well go for it. Hey, it hit! Nice one! Okay, that's a big help. Because if both Rangers are alive and Ross equips a halberd, they're both going to double him, and that usually ends badly. Yeah, that is very unfortunate. I mean, I actually could have Seth try and kill that guy, but I'd rather attempt to... I don't want to lose the Silver Lance, though, but... I think that's just 1 HP off Amelia being able to kill. It is. Of course it is. However, well, actually, wait, no, he's not trapped because he's got a space to move out from behind. Now, if I get exceedingly lucky here, how much of a hit rate does Ewan have? That's actually not worth it, because if he gets hit, then yeah, that's going to be all over. Okay, question. Will this guy be blocked from attacking Rachel if I go here? I'm guessing not. Might as well try this. Yeah, thought so. Okay, good. He's blocked from hitting Rachel. And I'm pretty sure Ross is safe. So... that's not going to be a kill. I think I'm going to have Ewan go here just to present a tempting target. And he's fine there. And now, what turn is it? Turn 3. Okay, so turn 4 is when we need to, start worrying about one thing in particular, but also these guys right here. So, these mercenaries, now, from now on, they only have iron axes and iron swords, so only the first wave is special. And I need to keep Erica here. How much damage do you do? 9. Oh, that without the forest, that's 8. 8, and then that's under the assumption that none of the axe users hit her, but it's generally a pretty safe assumption to make because she's Erica on a forest with weapon triangle advantage. They're probably not going to hit her. Colin needs to stay around this end, and what will loot? Oh, also Tethys needs to get to a position where she can be potentially helpful. And Tana can just go anywhere that isn't... You have a lance. That isn't patrolled by that guy. Oh, also Joshua. At this point, I like to have Joshua double back and help cover the rear. Because his help is going to be especially useful a bit later. And yeah, these guys are all idiots as well, like the Cavaliers. And Garrick takes them out, so that's 3 less enemies here, and we're gradually clearing out the enemies around the boss. Which is a good thing, because soon this area is going to get much more crowded. Oh, of course, you went for Amelia. Well, that means I'm going to have to clear you out next turn. Maybe that's what loot will be useful for. These guys are some of the few people that Amelia doubles with the Armor Slayer. Not that it matters. Ross can take you out next turn. It's not going to be that bad. Amelia is being surprisingly tanky here. Guess that's the benefit of going Knight with her. One of the few ones. I usually go Cavalier, but still. Okay. Okay, that's a good dodge. And a good crit, because that means the axe user will be able to attack her, and then he'll die, and that will mean less enemies. Oh, now she can use silver swords. Yeah, a 7 under true hit is almost not gonna ever hit. Leaving you on 1 HP is a problem, though. Oh, hey, another guy was stupid. This Lance Reaver will probably be worn down by this point, though. But it served its purpose. It's cleared out a huge number of enemies. And you... Yeah, I thought Tana wouldn't one-round you, but she'll be able to finish you off next turn. I guess I kind of find Tana her most useful down here, mainly later on to fight the boss. And complete 0. Okay, yeah, you're almost certainly going to double Ross. Yeah, you do. Even with the 1 point of extra speed. But that does put you in decent halberd range. Yeah, like I said, this guy usually goes for Garrick. And even if Garrick gets hit here, it's not a big deal. But he didn't. I would block the sleep ray with my sword. So I would like Colum to go there and kill that guy with the steel sword, but doing so will mean that he gets attacked by that guy and the mercenary, who will almost certainly hit him. So that's gonna be a problem. So this is the 4th turn. This is the turn that you need to at least wait for if you're going for, well, something very, very important. It's something that I've seen a lot of FAQs mention, because it seems like there are a lot of people who must just spam Seth a lot and kill the boss before the 4th turn and wonder, huh, where is blank? I'm kind of spoiling what's going to happen, but like I said, it's kind of obvious. I suppose I could try. Hey, I got it twice in a row, nice. And that's all the range gone. At this point, there are no really threatening enemies in the boss's area besides the boss himself. Except Amelia's a little, delayed now. However, I do have 2 magic users around here. Although I kind of prefer Ewan to be further behind. I suppose I can just make an exception to finish these things off. Because it's at the end of turn 8 enemy phase. That's the 2nd event that I want to wait for. And now we finish you. And I just remember Joshua has the Armor Slayer, which is useful against the boss, because he's one of the few people who can consistently double this guy. Despite the fact the boss only has 10 speed, the fact that he never gets weighed down by his weapons makes him surprisingly hard to double. Well, with Armor Slayers, because Armor Slayers are kind of heavy. Yeah, I forgot Yeah, I usually like to use Joshua back here, but I need that Armor Slayer somewhere closer to the front lines. I just realized that Garrick gaining 1 point of speed there might have made a difference. That puts him at 14, which means that Garrick actually doubles this guy. And the problem is, though, you only want to do that when you feel completely confident that you can finish him off that turn, because otherwise he will switch to the Sword Slayer and then Garrick is dead. No questions asked. Except, actually, no. Like even if he gets hit, he'll still probably die. Like, the thing about the Lance Reaver is, like I said, it's it against another Reaver will switch the weapon triangle back to normal, so the Sword Slayer will just be a normal axe against that. The problem is that he'll still get one-shotted if he gets hit by it. So, might not be a good idea. But the fact that Garrick might be able to double with an Armor Slayer might mean that I can save Joshua for the rear, and let's see how far I can... I mean, I suppose I could do this. Here, you hold on to the Armor Slayer for safekeeping. And now I need to give up one of my... I probably don't need the Lance Reaver. Yeah, I don't need the Steel Blade while I have the Silver Sword. Because soon reinforcements are going to stop coming from here, and they're going to start coming from these forts. But thankfully, they're only every 2 turns, not every 1 turn. As far as Seth goes, I kind of like to use him further back, even though he probably stands the best chance against the boss. Yeah, that's pretty effective. Should I have Seth down here, or should I... I might need him further back. Because, yeah, the whole rear thing is totally optional. Yeah, well, Rachel can always heal Ross next turn. Ross isn't going to need healing yet. So I'm going to have Seth move further towards the back. But you want to keep people away from this general area at turn 4. And as much as it might seem like a good idea to put Erica right there, it's not. Erica needs to be around here. And of course, you crit now. Because everything goes according to plan. Don't accidentally hit rescue. The problem here is that I actually need the Steel Sword to be able to kill these guys, and that puts up Column's risk of getting hit a lot more. Like I said, Column needs to stay around this general area. And yeah, so only the priest and the boss are left in that area. Like I said, that will change. Crit, please. Thank you. And soon this string of mercenaries is going to be gone. But there'll be... 1! Wow. And you didn't even need the crit to one-round him that time, but you still got it for good measure. No strength. It's kind of annoying. And you continue to maintain your pathetic existence. So, reinforcements there, and this! Obviously, Cormag is totally determined to slaughter Erica at this point. So, Cormag and some Wyvern Riders are down here. One of them has a Javelin, and we have Cormag. So, Cormag's stats are quite variable, and I got very lucky here. These are some good starting stats for Cormag. He's got a Killer Lance, a Steel Lance, and an Elysian Whip that will be dropped if he dies, but we don't want that to happen. Because I'm sure you know what's coming. However, I might have to stay here for at least one more turn. I really want that guy gone, though. This is going to be the last wave of reinforcements. This is what I like to refer to as, if you thought Seth was crazy, here's Seth with a support bonus. Unfortunately, that means they're probably going to pile into, and that might be the case, or... 41 is not something that I want to gamble with, especially since if he gets hit by both of those, he will die. And we'll soon need people to fight off these wyverns, which Colum is surprisingly not bad at. Kind of funny that he's fighting Cormag, because in the English version, Cormag and Colum get their names confused in supports a lot, because Colum's Japanese name was Cormag, so it's very, very similar to Cormag's name. You'll get many, many characters referring to Cormag in supports when they mean Colum and vice versa. But while on the subject of that, there are actually quite a few typos in supports, even in the... It's funny, you have exactly enough damage that you'll kill if you both hit her. But there are quite a few support typos that are typos even in the Japanese version, which is kind of weird. Like, I think it's Gilliam and Garcia. They have a support where Gilliam calls, where Garcia calls Gilliam himself, which is known in the fandom as the support where Garcia arm wrestles himself. If I can carry the Zanbato over to the front lines, because Erica's not going to get any use out of it back there, but I still need Colum around this side. Oh, and I promised that Rachel would heal Ross this turn. So here's the thing, I don't want to kill the boss now, because that would end the chapter, and that would be bad, but there's another reason why I don't want to end the chapter now. But there are also a lot of reinforcements here, which, like I said, actually aren't all that bad. I have Amelia go here and equip the Horse Slayer, even though I might need that on Tana later on, just to try and make sure the boss dies. Okay, question. Can you... I mean, I'll need to heal if I do that with Loot. Probably rather have you go up here. Oh yeah, you're still alive. That guy's not usually alive at this point. Yeah, because the Rune Sword's based on magic, it targets resistance, so it's not going to one-round that guy. I mean, Garrick with a Rune Sword could maybe theoretically tank that area. I don't want to take too many risks, because the boss is probably the only thing that's going to do any decent amount of damage. I just want that guy gone before I start fighting the boss, for obvious reasons. Oh yeah, and I promised that Joshua would go around the rear. Huh. Let's go for this. I mean, Garrick should be fine. And staying within 2 range of the boss is usually safe for, well, I mean, getting hit by a short spear is not good for sword users, but at least it's not a sword slayer. Yeah, the sword slayer is just one of those weapons that always... Oh, right, Garrick gets hit by one other guy. I mean, he's probably going to be fine, I say with increasing nervousness in my voice. Okay, Ewan. Like I said, Ewan going back here might not be a bad idea. And then I need Ross's halberd around this area. Might as well equip that for now. And who do I refresh with Teddies? I think either one of these two. At this point, Ewan looks like he'll be a bit more useful because he'll probably be able to one-round the wyverns. Defense is not bad. Just need to make sure that nobody is in range of Cormag. I feel like this music's a bit unfitting for this chapter as well. I would have imagined more, and that guy just runs entirely. More, you know, epic battle music, because this is probably one of the first, like, really big battle scenes we've had in this game. And you are immediately regretting your life choices. Presumably you didn't know who Seth was before this, and now, yeah. You're like, oh, hey, look, that paladin looks vulnerable. I now suddenly... guy didn't even attack. Huh. I'm now picturing Seth as a FE Warriors character slaughtering tons of enemies at once. I mean, he could easily do that. I mean, it's pretty much what he does in a Seth solo run. And I get that HP back. Or not. Now I do. But I would have preferred to hit both of those, because now that's one extra Cavalier running around. Okay, these three. So yeah, as long as they move relatively close to area, you're usually fine. And I wish this guy got the powerful foe theme, but annoyingly he doesn't. He really deserves it. Also, this line is pretty funny. But the answer to that is same goes for you. Okay, one hit is good. He's going to be healing from that fort, and that stupid priest is going to be there trying to heal him more. Yeah, 50, one hit is pretty much average. Of course, neither of them actually hit the Horse Slayer. But like I said, these Cavaliers are every 2 turns, not every 1 turn. Also, the Rune Sword was a skirmish, well, a Tower of Valny weapon, so not everyone will have a Rune Sword at this point. It's kind of the only ranged attack that Garrick has at this point in the game. I don't like that priest being there, though. I could easily... So yeah, no reinforcements at all that turn. But the next milestone that I want to look out for is turn 8, the end of turn 8 enemy phase. Because that's when something happens. Now, at this point, it's pretty much fine to kill the boss and end the chapter, but that would leave a certain plot thread from earlier hanging, and I don't want to do that. So, firstly though, let's do the thing that we've all been waiting for. Like I said, if you kill the boss before Cormag shows up, he just disappears from the plot and is never mentioned again. Which a lot of people find annoying. It's like, Erica, you don't know me, but you're about to. So, at this point, Erica doesn't even know Glenn is dead. I'm sorry, but the recruitment theme playing kinda spoils the outcome of this conversation. I wish it was like Joshua's, where it was just silence first, and then the recruitment theme played. The Critical Role fan of me is thinking that Cormag did an insight check there and was told, you don't sense she's lying. And then it clicks. This is actually one of my favourite recruitments in the series, and it's also a part of why I like Erica's route better for story than Ephraim's, because on Ephraim's route, Cormag's reasons for joining are much less personal. So anyway, here's Cormag. Cormag is the only Wyvern rider we get in this game. Fortunately, he is amazing. Though before I explain why he's so amazing, there's one thing that I need to go over. Cormag is the first character we're encountering who joins earlier on Ephraim's route as compared to Erica's, which makes doing this bio a bit tricky. I've listed his level 9 starting stats, which are Cormag's actual bases. On Erica's route, however, Cormag joins at level 11. What does this mean? It means that Cormag gets 2 automatic level ups from his level 9 base stats. These level ups are rolled for in the exact same way as a normal level up is, so there's some randomness involved in Cormag's actual base stats for Erica's route. Your Cormag might not look the same as mine did. That's because the off-screen level ups must have given different stats. Because of this, how useful Cormag is initially on this route varies depending on how lucky you are. If both his auto levels give him speed and strength, he becomes a real force to be reckoned with at this point. But if those auto levels are bad, he's a bit weaker. He did get an all-around buff, gaining +1 to every base stat except for speed and defense in the English version, so that also helps. In general, Cormag is fairly strong right from the get-go, has great growth rates, and joins with a promotion item already, so he's very, very solid. He mostly specialises in HP, strength, skill, and speed, which are pretty much all the stats that you'd want, although his defense growth is a little bit low for a Wyvern rider. He actually acts more like a flying hero than a flying tank. In fact, if you're very familiar with FE7, you might notice that Cormag's growths are directly copy and pasted from Raven's. There is a reason for this. I find Cormag's class options very interesting, as he's one of the very few characters who has two options that are very different in the way they work, and yet has the right growths in the right areas to do well in both of them. The options are Wyvern Lord and Wyvern Knight. We've seen several potential Wyvern Knights earlier, but Cormag is the only one in the game, not counting bonus characters, who can be a Wyvern Lord, so that is something unique to him if you want to go that route. Wyvern Lord makes the most of Cormag's amazing strength. He'll almost certainly reach the cap of 27, making him a very hard-hitting flyer, with also a bit more bulk than Wyvern Knight would have, though again, Cormag isn't the most defensive of all Wyvern riders. His speed, though, is unfortunately stuck at a pretty low cap of 23, so this option is all about power, really. It also gains access to swords. A lot of people new to the series associate the Wyvern Rider and Lord classes with axes. They actually never used them until Radiant Dawn. Before that, they were more associated with swords. Starting with a D rank is definitely a lot better than starting with an E. And it helps Cormag fight axe users pretty well. Most enemy axe users aren't that fast, so he'll probably still be able to double them. This class also gives +1 to Con, which, to be honest, isn't that big of an advantage. Cormag's constitution was already enough to use javelins without a penalty. This just lets him use short spears and spears without penalty. He is still getting weighed down by steel lances, unfortunately. Wyvern Knight, on the other hand, is the speedy variant, giving a really nice +3 on promotion and having a much higher cap, though not quite as high as the female Wyvern Knights, though to make up for it, male Wyvern Knights have an extra point of the strength cap, which Cormag will almost certainly reach. 25 strength with higher speed, as well as the pierce skill, will usually result in better offensive output from Wyvern Knight than Wyvern Lord. But sometimes those extra points of strength can make a difference, and like I said, Wyvern Lord is also bulkier and can use swords. Unlike females, Cormag gets no con advantage by going Wyvern Knight. So really, Cormag is amazing no matter which class you make him. I'd say Wyvern Knight is probably better, but since I usually have Tana or Vanessa as a Wyvern Knight, I often like making him a Wyvern Lord to compensate. Speaking of Tana, it's worth noting that Cormag and Tana can support each other, making them a pretty effective flyer tag team if you want to go that route. I'll close off with one piece of trivia. Cormag, much like Amelia, was one of the characters who changed the most from the beta version. Cormag originally had Joshua's role in the story, and was planned to be a mercenary. This explains the Raven clone growth rates. My theory is they actually copy and pasted Raven directly into this game, just so they'd have an easy starting build for a mercenary, and they changed his bases a bit, changed his name and portrait, but didn't change his growths, and they forgot to change them when they switched him to a Wyvern Rider. Speaking of which, there was originally a different character who was planned to be the Wyvern Rider in this game. All we know is that his name was Nate, and that he was probably cut early in development because even in the beta version, he doesn't have a portrait. So, you can obviously tell that I want him to fight a certain someone at some point in the game. So yeah, Cormag can't always double these guys. His starting stats vary depending on how lucky his off-screen level ups were. But I got a very good Cormag here, which means that I definitely want this attempt of the chapter to count. Is this the first time we're seeing enemy Wyvern Riders, by the way? I think it is. They're nowhere near as ridiculously tough as they were in FE6, so they're not that bad. Okay, if you gain 1 magic, you actually would have been outclassing loot, which would be embarrassing. Okay, this Wyvern Rider right here. It's kind of... Am I hitting harder with a sword than I am with a lance? With weapon triangle's advantage? That's kind of weird. Okay. With a Cormag this good, I may want to send him down here, because when I tried in practice to use the heavy spear against Ias, it really didn't end well. But here... Because like I was saying before, Colum actually does a decent job of finishing off what weakened Wyvern Riders here, but yeah, ouch, that damage though. If he'd missed, that would have been bad. So Colum around here, at this point I want to get him to around this area, because he needs to be here to steal something. Oh, hey, I might actually be able to speed Cormag's approach to the front lines here. And now, you! So, Tana can't reach him. I actually have to Rune Sword you. So here's where a 1-2 range weapon on a sword user comes in handy. I don't want you healing the boss at all. So you have to go. Unfortunately, priests aren't worth much experience thanks to that class power system that I talked about earlier in the game. Priests are... It means that priests, like your priests, gain experience pretty quickly, but it means that killing an enemy priest won't give you much, which makes sense. I'm doubling with a real... Oh, well, I mean, he does have a javelin. Yeah, that's about what I thought. Okay. So, like I said, magic doesn't really do much to this guy, and yeah, don't do that. At all. No, that's actually a good enough use for one-use fire. Of course, I'll need to make sure that I take out most of the Cavaliers, otherwise loot's in danger. And... right. Which is the one who got doubled by the... You're the one who got doubled by the Horse Slayer, although the chance of both of these hitting is not that high. And gone! Nice. The good thing about this being a turn-limited survival chapter is that it's actually not going to go on for that long, despite the fact that it feels like it's going on for an eternity. Okay, so yeah, the Halberd, when it has a reliable hit rate, is pretty effective here. And let's finish you off. And I think IS is going to recover all of his health. So here's the part where things get kind of problematic, because I need to make sure that getting an extra point of strength on Tana might not be a bad idea. Okay, so the Victory is Near theme is playing now. That won't last. Reinforcement spam chapters like this are some of the few ones where you can get Victory is Near and then suddenly, wait, just kidding. Yeah, let's send Cormag down here. Because I got so lucky with his starting stats that I might be able to have him kill the boss. Is that going to be... Yeah, that's going to be everything. Of course it is. And yeah, more reinforcements. But now we need to start getting worried, because next turn something big happens in this region of the map. And there's a certain enemy here that is a very, very big threat to Erica. What I like to do is, and this is very risky, is actually keep Erica and some people, particularly Joshua, around this area to instantly take out the main enemy that I want to fight here when he appears, do what I need to do over there, and then make sure the boss dies next turn. So speaking of that, because, like, look at this. Amelia Horseslayer versus boss is not that great, but if I give that to Cormag, also, you can actually promote Cormag right now if you wanted to. That's worse for hit rate, but 15 damage is decent. See, seriously, look at these hit rates. Lancers are the most reliable thing to use against IS because he doesn't actually have anything that's effective against Lancers. See, again, the Sword Slayer is the problem. 17 times 2 is great, but the problem is 50% of a hit rate. If Garrick hits both of those, then that's great, but if he doesn't, there could be a problem. Also, Heavy Spear Tana. See, that's a lot of damage, but it's also a 50 hit rate. So here's where we get into problematic territory. I need to rely on a lot of very low hits hitting this guy. Unfortunately, Ross has exactly not enough HP to survive getting doubled by him. I mean, that's provided that he hits both 47%, but I don't want to take any chances. Both the hammer and the halberd are kind of identical, though the halberd has slightly more hits. If anything, that's a better option, because, I mean, it's not doing as much damage, but on a crit it'll do a lot, and 60 is not a bad hit rate. I just need to watch out for him going for the Sword Slayer next turn. Yeah, unfortunately, these reinforcements do have swords sometimes, so only 4 uses left of that is not good. I may need the Lance Reaver against the boss, so using it here is not the best, but I kind of want to clear the way. I can see if there's somebody who could potentially just park themselves next to the boss. That is fantastic! The extra luck might help you hit your hit rate with the Armor Slayer, actually. Like, that's really, really great. Of course, this is the route that's not going to count when it comes to final stats, but still. The problem is most avenues that I can attack from the boss from are covered by the Cavaliers. So, although you're just a Sword Cavalier with 14 attack power, and Cormag has 12 defense plus weapon triangle, you do 1 damage. Or even 0. Like that 1% critical rate. Just trying to figure out who's the best to just park next to the boss and hope for a bit of extra damage. Because Tana... It's a shame that she can double with a lot of things, but not quite the Heavy Spear. And she's maxed out on speed, so there's no way she could possibly double with the Heavy Spear. I mean, that's great if it hits. Problem is, if it hits. And if you use the Sword Slayer, you have weapon... Yeah, you're going to be using the shorts, either that or the Steel Blade, at either of these two. You're probably not going to use the Sword Slayer against Cormag. If I can bait out the Silver Blade, then I'm going to have a better hit rate with the Armor Slayer. Yeah, sorry if this is taking a while, but I've got to plan my strategy out for this particular boss, because he is very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Speaking of dangerous, I might have equipped the halberd there. I feel like because he's never weighed down by anything, if he doesn't double you with one of his weapons, he won't double you with any of them, so... I feel like this might be the best bet, although this is probably going to miss. Cormag and Tana actually have a support, by the way. I suppose one person attacking loot is not that bad. 2, on the other hand, is going to be disastrous. Does anybody need, well, I suppose I can heal Amelia. Okay, yeah, not in range. Oh, here's the problem. Teddy's helps on both sides, actually, but if I get her... In fact, okay, so the boss absolutely has to die next turn. And I don't think Teddy's is close enough to be able to dance for anyone who is near the boss next turn. So I think I've got to have her go over here. At this point, I'm just going to be setting up my positions for something that I know is going to happen here. That spot down there next to that mountain is what I need to be concerned with. Column needs to be around here. Ewan needs to be Actually around here-ish, and then Erica needs to, it depends on what spawns where. I know I'm going to have to end this one way or another next turn, so Erica usually being around there is a terrible idea, but for now, like I said, I know this is going to end one way or another next turn. Really? That was, I think, 130 damage. I am equipping the wrong thing. Still only one enemy, so if she gets double, that's fine. And, okay, yeah. Okay, right. Here's the problem that I knew would happen eventually, is the thing where if you've got the animations set to custom, anyone who joins is defaulted to off, so I'm going to have to switch the animations again. But IS getting hit there is actually very good. Garrick is ready to... Yeah, he's ready to use the Armor Slayer. The other problem with not having animations on is I have no idea which weapon IS used there. That's one of the reasons I like having animations on. So what weapon did you use? You used the Silver Blade! That's excellent! Oh, and they're not coming. Oh, it must be the end of turn 9. That is actually very, very good. Right, okay, I'm much more set for you. But that's, yeah, Ross is not going to find you now. As long as you keep using that, though. Tana also has a great hit rate. Although this weapon one-shots Tana if he hits her, which is not good. Okay, let's just chop you. Sorry, I was off by one turn, which actually means that I'm in a much better position, because now I have the boss pre-weakened. Okay, Garrick has to be in a position where he can Armor Slayer the boss, but that will be from here just fine. Go ahead and use the Silver Sword, even though it's kind of overkill. Just clearing out the enemies. That's 2! It's weird how mercenaries seem to be critting with low percents for me quite often in my Fire Emblem playthroughs. Oh, I know Ogma did that back in New Mystery a lot. 17, 16. 11. So, actually, Cormag, he's still in range of the boss, obviously. All three of you have the exact same hit rate. And right, I was right about that guy doing 1 damage. So this is what Cormag looks like. It's pretty cool. He's going to get a little bit more experience than usual because he's kind of below us. I'm going to trust that heal's going to fully heal you. And like I said, this victory is near music will go away soon. And hey, heal did fully heal him. I could try and see if Amelia will be able to possibly finish this guy off. I highly doubt it, but it could happen. So I'm hoping that he stays with that Silver Blade equipped, but because that's actually one of the best weapons that he can have for me. Here's the question. Teddy's, where should she go? I need her to be in a position where she can potentially... So this area is about to get swarmed with enemies. Thankfully, they're not ambush spawning. And yeah, what I'm doing here is obviously acting on meta knowledge, which is kind of annoying when I'm forced to do that for one of my strategies, but I find it's the best way to do what I plan on doing without... So yeah, look at this! Pablo's here! If you kill the boss of this chapter before Pablo shows up, you never see Pablo again in the entire game. So, this is our final opportunity to settle the score with Pablo once and for all. So, I like to wait until he shows up before I finish this chapter. Well, you're not going to get there, unfortunately for you. And more reinforcements. So, Pablo's group has just spawned. Pablo has Purge, so he can use long-range magic against you. If you're playing this chapter the way that you're quote-unquote supposed to, which is just choke pointing here and here and just waiting, Purge can be pretty dangerous. Something about Pablo, though, is his stats haven't changed since we last saw him. In the Japanese version, his stats were slightly higher at this point. So, kind of a bit of a difficulty nerf there. But the main thing to worry about with Pablo's force is this guy. Yep, there's the Sword Slayer again, and it's effective against Erica. I don't want to do it just to show it off, unless, in case I accidentally mash A and he kills her, because that will happen. If you can bait this guy into using his hand axe against someone, you'll be able to get the Sword Slayer, and that is going to really help against the next chapter's boss. For now, though... Hey, this guy's faster than Ross. For now, though, I originally thought that, like, I was like, okay, Ewan can fight this guy, because, Shaman against Sage, and then I realized, oh wait, he's a Light Sage, and then I realized that he actually starts out with Anima equipped, which means that Ewan actually has a decent, weapon triangle advantage, even though, thanks to this guy's massive resistance here. I could have got a Luna Tome for this occurrence. Luna would be really good against Pablo. But here's the other reason why I wanted to wait until this guy showed up. Not you, which means I actually need to kill you. You! This bandit here, from Pablo's mercenary force, has a body ring. Your inventory isn't full, is it? I have to give something to someone else before I can steal. Which shouldn't actually be that terrible. Just to make sure that somebody is adjacent to that too. As long as Ewan stays there. Because I want to make sure Pablo dies here. I think that might be better, actually. Free up from getting you. That body ring is a very rare item. There are only 2 of these that you can get naturally, and this is one of them. And you need to steal it here. So, this can be really annoying. Like I said in one of my practice runs, I had Column, like, up here, so I couldn't actually get to it, and I had to restart. It's annoying, but I need to get you out of the way first. Before we do anything else. Because I have to swipe that body ring. It's part of the reason I stalled this chapter out for so long. The other is the satisfaction of actually finishing off Pablo. Who, if you stall this chapter out, will do the opposite, actually. I don't know why I said that. Basically, if you don't stall this chapter out, Pablo will never appear, and you never get a chance to settle the score with him. So yeah, I need to trade. So, you might as well take the Zanbato, I guess. Give me that! I think you all know who's getting that. But now, I actually need to finish Pablo off quickly, because, also hilariously, Seth is totally trapped. So yeah, one of these two has to be the one to finish Pablo, but... yeah, they're gonna do it easily. Now, the Sword Slayer actually has disadvantage against Lances, so... and being a Reaver weapon, it is double disadvantage. But that's what Sword Slayer does to sword wielders, so stay well away from it if you're a Myrmidon, Mercenary, Erica. Oh, by the way, here's Pablo. And now, yes, Pablo's character is fairly generic. He's all like, I have money. Does hit pretty hard, though. And there goes Pablo. I just kind of realized a bit after I recorded the first chapter with him, but Pablo is basically Wario. And that was a weird level up. But anyway, that's Pablo gone. That's the main reason why I wanted to stall this chapter out, as well as the body ring. So with those out of the way, I'm ready to finish off IS, and he's still equipping that, because enemies don't seem to want to change their equipment in... Also, that means you have no ranged attack this turn. So, things are looking pretty bad for IS at this point. I still don't like that 1% crit rate, though. And I'd like Cormag to get the kill, one, as a hilarious traitor moment, but also because he needs the experience the most. The problem is that I don't like that 1% critical rate. And yeah, that's a bad idea now. Although Amelia is also a bad idea. Yeah. Okay, let's start the fire. Okay, you can't actually finish that off. And Tana gets potentially one-shotted, so I can't do that. See, Amelia, if you could do 1 damage, that would actually... I mean, not even that. I think I actually need to use Garrick here. Yeah, I want to keep this open for... Garrick's probably going to land the final blow here. I might have to rely on these two as an insurance policy in case something goes wrong. But I'm feeling pretty confident at this point. And that would be A rank, I think? Okay, so first, though... I may as well try and get a free hand axe. Okay, so it's anyone who uses a sword. I thought for a second that paladins might be exempt from that, but like I'm in mounted classes, but no, it's anybody who uses a sword, they get effectiveness bonus. That's actually really dangerous. Yeah. Naturally, in, I think it's... Maybe it was even on Hector Normal. I remember that on one of the difficulties in FE7, there's an enemy near Jafar in not Night of Farewells, the one before it, Battle Before Dawn, who has a Sword Slayer, and that guy is always very, very irritating. Although, the only people Teddies can refresh are people who are going to get Sword Slain. So... let's see. Doesn't seem to be much of a way for her to get to anyone else. So, I'm going to have to... let's at least try and take down the guy that we already robbed. Just for maybe a bit of extra experience. Nope. Okay. Actually, I'm going to refresh Joshua because I'd like him to be as high level as possible before we go to the next chapter. I definitely want him to be promoted there. He probably will be. Oh, that's perfect. As long as he doesn't fight the Sword Slayer guy, I'm fine. Of course, this is going to rob me of a free hand axe, but still. Those aren't exactly the rarest weapons out there. I would have really liked to force the guy to drop his Sword Slayer, because it would have made the next boss hilariously easy, but... hey, strength and defense. And that's max skill. So now we have to worry about you. See, I need these two on standby in case Garrick doesn't finish him off, so I can't have them fight these guys, unfortunately. And go here, just to maximize the other avenues of attack people have. This could do it. No, it won't do it. Okay, yeah, if that was a double miss, that would have been really terrible. But it's looking like I might have this, although I really don't want to speak too soon. One of these two needs to hit, and... I'm going to have to rely on 65s. Or, well, 65 and a 57. Come on, Cormag! There we go! And this guy's death quote is almost 4th wall breaking. He's pretty much praising the player for being able to beat him. Because this is not how you're, quote-unquote, supposed to finish the chapter. But it's kind of interesting that they give you a reward for doing that, in that you, the player, get praised by the enemy general. Oh, another reward is that you get Knight Crest. And so beating the boss early causes the Ralston Knights to appear earlier than expected. This is normally what happens if you wait out the turn limit. Well, actually, they were faster than usual because we beat the boss. But yeah, speaking of fast, definitely make sure that you don't finish this chapter before turn 4, otherwise you'll miss Cormag. And again, you'll miss the body ring if you don't wait until later as well. And yep, the secret drops, although it was never much of a secret to begin with. It was pretty obvious. In fact, right at the very beginning when we first met her, she almost said it outright, and then she got quickly stopped. So, yep, it's time for her to finally confess. So, Rachel is actually the Princess of Ralston, making her a lot more plot relevant than it seemed at first. Although really, the fact that she was one of the only characters from Ralston that we'd met, it was kind of obvious. I mean, if anyone was going to be royalty of Ralston, it would be her. I think this might be the only time that guy's mentioned. You never even see him, he just has a name. So, yep, she did the whole rebellious princess going incognito thing. 5,000 is honestly a little bit stingy. So yeah, the ruler of Ralston at this point is actually her uncle. So now we've basically forged an alliance with Ralston by sheer coincidence by having Rachel meet us. But then again, her luck is insane, so maybe it was all because of that. However, Johanna's already surrendered, which is bad. We've got another job to do. We have to get there quickly and confirm that the Queen is alive. And Leon's around. Yeah, this is going to be pretty hard for Erica. So with that, that is the end of that chapter, and it actually didn't go as badly as I thought it would, but I did practice this one pretty extensively. So, next time we will be... Next time is another chapter that I find annoying for a couple of reasons. There's a certain annoying staff in the chapter, and the chapter also has... In a game that mostly has well-written villains, it has probably one of the dumbest motivated Fire Emblem villains that in the whole series, at least to me. So I'm going to be ranting about that guy a lot once we get there. So, see you then.